Hello, folks. Welcome to beginning of March coronavirus update. And just in case some of you guys are wondering, YouTube didn't delete all of my, or a whole bunch of my videos. I did that. I went through and just did some spring cleaning. I left, some of my very few first videos I uploaded, along with the first few shaving videos I uploaded, and of course all the videos I uploaded in the last few months. I left those on, and yeah, this is coronavirus update. And I guess for us here in Texas, we're kind of lucky that spring has arrived early. This whole week it's going to be in like mid 60s to 70 degrees for the high. And yeah, I'm literally wearing shorts outside during the daytime. So for the update here in Texas, it seems that one of the Wuhan evacuee, I'm sweating because it is hot, and I got that hot light turned on. And so the lady, the Wuhan evacuee, stayed in California for 14 days, didn't show any symptom. So they let her go home, which happened to be San Antonio. So she comes to San Antonio. So the lady's going shopping, going to restaurants, going to malls, and turns out she, I guess for some reason, maybe she felt ill and went and got tested, and comes back, she's positive for coronavirus. So, of course, I'm up here in Dallas, so we're within driving distance of San Antonio. So the question is going to be, how many tens or hundreds of people did this lady infect? Kind of like the old lady in South Korea who came back, same deal, came back from Wuhan. Now, I don't know if this lady went to church or whatever, but she went to. So the old Korean lady comes back from Wuhan to South Korea, and then she goes to church, and she infects like 80 people. And of course, the way this cult, they're saying the way that they sit literally right next to each other, they say they sit 5 centimeters apart from each other, which is literally right next to each other. It's kind of going to the movie theater. You're sitting next to that person. They're even closer. So imagine, that's how close they are. So the question now is going to be, how many people who are walking around who are asymptomatic, meaning that they don't feel sick, but are infected, and of course those people are going around and infecting other people. So I kind of stated in the last video that if the outbreak happens in Texas, it's probably going to be in Houston because there's a huge Chinese population down there. So it seems like it's going to start in San Antonio, which has a huge Hispanic population. I call it Mexico 2.0. And of course, speaking to the relatives in China, they're saying as of right now, a month later, they still can't find any masks in stores. And of course, the Chinese government are saying, hey, they're ramping up. They're getting factories back online, or they've had factories back online a week or two ago, and they're making more masks. But it seems those masks that are being made is going to hospitals, going to doctors, medical professionals, and none of it, or very little bit of it is going to retail stores for individuals. Unlike in South Korea, they're actually, ramping up their mask production, and they're not exporting any of their masks, and they're actually giving theirs, being able to give theirs out to their citizens. So I forgot to ask them. I'll ask them, I guess, next time I chat with them. Is that do they have any like mass distribution centers like in South Korea, where you line up for 3 hours to get 30 masks, which should last. If it's an individual, that should last pretty much through the whole. If you wear one a day, or if it's you and your wife, it still should last you 2 to 3 weeks. But of course, here in the U.S., we again still have our professional or our medical professionals telling us, hey, don't bother wearing masks. And that really doesn't matter, because if you want masks, you can't find any anyways unless you work at a hospital and you swipe some from the hospital. And of course, I asked my sister. She's like, no, I haven't noticed any nurse or doctors at the hospital swiping mask or gloves, but if the outbreak comes, and if it turns out that tomorrow or by Friday there's 200, 300 sick people in the San Antonio area, yeah, the FEMA camp down there will open up, and and I was joking, and of course I was joking, hey, at least in China they built two 1,000 bed hospitals in like 10 days, and they're using municipal buildings to house their sick. Here in the U.S., our butts just going to get kicked over to the FEMA camps where, there'll be tents, no running water, no electricity, and all the sick people will just be lined up in the tents. And if you're young and healthy, you'll survive. If you're old, diabetic, or old with heart disease, you're probably going to die in those FEMA camps, unfortunately. And so again, even if you want masks in the U.S., of course, our authorities, our medical professionals telling us don't bother wearing masks. It doesn't work. That really doesn't matter because you can't get any anyways. I put in an order for surgical masks, not the N95. Luckily I have about 4 of those. So if I go out or whatever, I got at least 4 to use. I put in an order like February 8th, and it's supposed to come in the weeks or the dates between February 24th and March 8th. And I don't think I'm going to get any masks. And, I probably won't be getting any until like a month or 2 down the road when the company that I ordered it through have enough in stock so they can ship out to the U.S. So so be prepared. Of course, they're telling people don't panic. So you got California, Oregon, Washington State, and kind of like I've been saying, if it pops off, it's gonna pop off in one of the blue states. And of course, I wasn't wrong. And of course, the blue states also where a lot of the Chinese people congregate. So that's not a surprise. And of course, people not in the whole state, but people in the affected area, like San Francisco, where or close to San Francisco, where the 2 ladies, one of them was on, I don't think one of them has passed away, but I guess it is in critical condition and on a ventilator. So people in the San Francisco area are making a run for supplies. Same in Oregon and Washington State, they're making a run on supplies. And as long as trucks are running, the supplies are going to get replenished. So it's not a situation like in Wuhan, where it's a complete lockdown where supply trucks were limited. They were running, but they were limited. Factories were shut down, and there's just now the factories are just now getting turned back on. So hopefully China gets through this, and hopefully the U.S. I don't think we're going to have a Wuhan where there's one big city that is going to get locked down. I think in the case of the U.S., we're going to have a whole bunch of mini Wuhans where, kind of like in Texas, it's going to be San Antonio. Over in California, it's going to be San Francisco and Oregon. I don't know which city it is in Oregon and which cities. I forget the name of the city. Washington State. It's a funky name. It's in the infection in Washington State. So our numbers may reach the same as the Chinese, but it won't be like like 70% of their infected and dead are from Wuhan. And so in our case, it's going to be spread out, and it's not going to be just one big city. And and of course, I've been telling folks, hey, don't panic, but don't underestimate it. Don't just be nonchalant, like, it ain't going to happen to me. And of course, in my case here, we got that lady down in San Antonio, which is like a 5-hour drive from Dallas. So if someone that she coughed on or spit on, well, of course, if you speak, you'll be surprised when you speak with people, you don't see it, but your spits and spittles are coming out and hitting the other person. So if you're within a couple of feet and speaking with someone, you're putting spit out on the person. And if one of the person that she infected makes it up here in Dallas, that of course will bring the the panic level up a little bit, at least for me. Like I said, you go out. Now I have bottled water, but I also have water filtration, and it's not the high end, the $300 water filtration system. The funny thing is that when we moved in, the last people had one of those $300, I think $300, $400, $500 water filtration system in place. I had the plumbers take it out because I didn't feel like messing with it. It looked like it was too complicated and too expensive to keep up. I have Pier. That's what I use. Before I was using Brita, I switched over to Pier, and I doubt our water system is going to get infected. And supposedly both Pier and Brita filters, at least they say it, is the filters will filter out microns down small enough that it'll filter out flu viruses and stuff like that. So I'm going to trust, that my water filter will filter out the tap water and filter out any cold flu, including coronavirus, that might get in there. Because the thing is, just like the flu also infects your gut, and coronavirus is a flu-type virus, and it also infects your gut. Kind of like people say, hey, I had the stomach flu. That's exactly what it is. Instead of the flu getting into your lungs, the flu got into your gut, and you're pooping out like crazy. It's the let me get some water. Yeah, I'd be like that man on Fox News. He gets on and he's coughing like crazy throughout the whole interview, and he drinks his daughter has a small water bottle like what I got here. He drinks out of it, gives it to his little to his little girl. All right. So so I think the one saving grace for us here in Texas, and maybe California too, is that this whole week and into next week, now we got 67-degree weather, which is warming up. So we might not see any outbreak here in Texas. And that's it for this video. And until the next video, hopefully the next coronavirus update won't be we're neck deep in an epidemic and we're screwed. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Like I said, if you do anything, if you do any I call it mini prepping, basically buy enough food for 3-4 weeks, is basically a month. If you don't have any water filtration system, go ahead and buy it. They're not that expensive. Or buy a whole bunch of bottled water, whichever you feel like doing. And if you're if the authorities come out and say, hey, your city your city's got 200 infected people, with 10 dead, we have to ask the citizens to stay home, and just stay home, and don't go out, and hopefully you bought enough groceries for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, there's always Uber Eats. You can always order groceries online also. So everything is available online. And I guess let the Uber Eats guy or the Amazon food delivery guy, take the chance on getting infected. I guess that's a chance they're taking, but. I don't think those guys take tips, do they? I don't know. I've never tipped them. Well, anyways, thank you guys, and hopefully the next update is a good update, and that